The atmosphere around Ibrox has been anything but calm as Rangers move closer to another important domestic test. And the build-up to the meeting with Hibernian has taken an unexpected turn that has left supporters anxious and the coaching staff weighing up difficult choices. Preparations that should have been focused purely on tactical details and recovery have instead been overshadowed by concern over a key player, adding tension to a period where consistency and momentum are absolutely vital for this squad. Attention has inevitably centered on Bojan Miovski, whose availability has become the biggest talking point inside the training ground. The striker picked up a knock during the recent European outing, and while the initial signs suggest it may not be serious, there is still enough doubt to disrupt plans. For Rangers, the timing could hardly be worse, with fixtures coming thick and fast and very little room for dropped points. Losing a forward who has finally found his rhythm would be a frustrating setback. What makes the situation even more delicate is the context of Miovski's recent form. His journey since arriving in Glasgow has not been straightforward. Expectations were high when he joined, yet goals were slow to arrive, and confidence was clearly affected. For a long spell, his contribution was questioned, not always unfairly as chances came and went, without the end product a club like Rangers demands. But football has a habit of turning quickly, and over the past week, there has been a clear shift in both output and body language. The match in Budapest, despite ending in disappointment for Rangers, offered a glimpse of what Miovski can bring when belief flows through his game. His acrobatic finish was instinctive, fearless, and technically excellent, the kind of goal that lifts teammates and supporters alike. It followed a sharp double in domestic action, meaning he suddenly went from struggling for goals to scoring 3 times in 2 matches. That surge has changed the conversation around him entirely, transforming concern into cautious optimism. Now, that optimism is being tested. The knock he sustained has forced the coaching staff to adopt a wait-and-see approach, monitoring his reaction over the coming days before making any final call. There's a sense of restraint rather than panic, but also an understanding that Rangers cannot afford unnecessary risks. Pushing a player back too soon could lead to longer problems, especially during such a demanding run of games. At the same time, having him available could be the difference between dominance and frustration against a Hibernian side that will not make things easy. With European ambitions effectively fading into the background after recent results, the focus has narrowed sharply on domestic matters. League form now carries even greater weight, and performances at Ibrox must reflect that urgency. The pressure to deliver in front of goal has been evident in recent weeks, and Miovski's renewed confidence has offered a rare spark. His movement has looked sharper, his decision-making more assertive, and his willingness to take responsibility has stood out in a team still searching for fluency. If he is ruled out, Rangers will need others to step up without hesitation. Depth will be tested, and adaptability will be crucial, particularly with a congested schedule looming. Clean sheets and efficiency at both ends of the pitch have been highlighted internally as non-negotiables, and that message will only grow louder if attacking options are limited. Supporters understand the situation, but patience is thin when momentum is at stake. Beyond the immediate concern over Miovski, there is a broader sense that this squad is still in transition, still defining its identity under new leadership. Every decision, whether related to team selection or player management, feels magnified. The margin for error is slim, and small setbacks have the potential to snowball if not handled carefully. That is why the next 48 hours are being treated with such importance behind the scenes, as medical updates and training responses will shape the approach to the upcoming fixture. As the days tick down, the mood around Ibrox remains a mixture of hope and apprehension. There is belief that Miovski's issue is nothing more than a minor knock, something that can be shaken off with rest and treatment. There is also realism and acceptance that caution may be the smarter route if there is any lingering doubt. Rangers have been here before, balancing short-term needs against long-term stability, and the choices made now will echo through the next run of matches. What is clear is that this moment could define the next phase of the season. Whether Miovski leads the line or watches from the sidelines, Rangers must respond with intensity and focus, turning frustration into purpose. The recent disappointment on the European stage has sharpened the need for a strong domestic response, and everything now points towards a test of character as much as quality when Hibernian arrive at Ibrox. While attention has been fixed on fitness concerns in the forward line, there is another storyline quietly gathering momentum behind the scenes, one that could have a significant impact on how Rangers shape the months ahead. The future of young winger Jefte Gazama is beginning to attract serious scrutiny, not only from within the club, but from abroad, as interest grows and valuations start to crystallize. Gazama's situation is a fascinating one because of how quickly the narrative has shifted since his arrival. When Rangers moved to bring him to Glasgow, it was seen as a calculated risk, a deal struck in a period marked by uncertainty and missed opportunities in the transfer market. Expectations were measured, and there was an understanding that adaptation would take time, especially for a young player stepping into the demands and intensity of Scottish football. Few could have predicted just how rapidly he would become one of the more reliable attacking outlets in an otherwise uneven campaign. Despite Rangers struggling to find consistent rhythm, Gazama has delivered moments of genuine quality. His pace has stretched defenses, his willingness to run directly at opponents has injected urgency, and most importantly, his end product has been there when others have faltered. Goals and assists have arrived at crucial moments, giving supporters something tangible to cling to during difficult spells. For a player still finding his feet at this level, that contribution has not gone unnoticed. That form has now sparked growing attention from clubs outside Scotland, with particular noise coming from Spain. Interest is said to be serious rather than speculative, and Rangers are fully aware that they may soon face a decision that balances sporting ambition against financial reality. The valuation being discussed reflects how highly the club now rates Gazama's potential, especially given how quickly he has adapted and how central he has become to the attacking structure. For Rangers, the dilemma is a familiar one. Selling a player at the right time can provide resources to reshape the squad, particularly during a period of transition under a new head coach. At the same time, losing one of the few consistent attacking threats could weaken a side already striving for stability and cohesion. Timing is everything, and with a demanding domestic schedule ahead, any disruption carries risk. Internally, there is an understanding that interest in Gazama will only intensify if his performances continue on the same trajectory. Young, direct wingers with proven output tend to attract attention quickly, and Rangers know that holding firm on their valuation is essential if discussions are to progress. There is no sense of panic, But there is an acceptance that modern football rarely allows clubs to operate in isolation when players begin to shine. From the player's perspective, the situation is equally delicate. Opportunities at a higher level or in a different league can be difficult to ignore, particularly when momentum is building. However, there is also value in continuity in developing further within a system where trust has already been earned. Gazama's focus for now remains on contributing whenever called upon, aware that speculation is part of the landscape, but performances are what ultimately shape outcomes. The head coach has been careful to keep the message consistent, steering clear of external noise and reinforcing the importance of a collective responsibility. Every player currently at the club is seen as part of the immediate challenge ahead, and maintaining focus during a congested run of fixtures is paramount. Rangers need sharpness, discipline, and clarity, especially in matches where margins are tight and patience can be tested. As these parallel storylines unfold, one centered on fitness and the other on future planning, they underline just how finely balanced this moment is for Rangers. Decisions made now, whether medical, tactical, or strategic, will influence not only the next few matches, but the broader direction of the season. Supporters sense that change is in the air, yet there is also a desire for stability, for signs that progress is being built rather than constantly reset. With key fixtures approaching and scrutiny intensifying, the pressure to deliver on the pitch remains constant. Rangers must find ways to be clinical, resilient, and adaptable regardless of who starts or who may be attracting attention elsewhere. The coming weeks promise clarity on several fronts, but for now, everything hinges on preparation, performance, and the ability to navigate uncertainty without losing momentum as the domestic campaign gathers pace. As Rangers navigate these individual situations, there is a broader challenge unfolding that goes beyond any single player or transfer discussion. The reality is that this squad is still searching for balance, trying to blend urgency with control and ambition with patience. Recent performances have shown flashes of what this group can become, but they have also exposed fragility, especially when momentum shifts within matches. That inconsistency has been a constant talking point among supporters and staff alike. At Ibrox, expectations never soften, regardless of circumstance. Every home match carries the weight of history and the demand for dominance, and that pressure filters directly onto the pitch. Rangers have had spells where possession has been controlled and chances created, yet too often those moments have not translated into sustained authority. The lack of a clinical edge at key points has turned comfortable positions into anxious finishes, testing both confidence and composure. Defensively, there has been a similar pattern. Periods of solidity have been interrupted by lapses in concentration, the kind that are punished quickly at this level. Clean sheets have become a priority, not just for points, but for belief. When Rangers look secure at the back, the entire side plays with more freedom, allowing midfielders to step higher and attackers to take risks without fear of immediate consequence. That structure is still being refined, and each match offers lessons that must be absorbed quickly. The midfield has been central to this ongoing evolution. Control of tempo, especially in domestic matches where Rangers are expected to dictate play, has not always been consistent. There have been games where the ball has moved sharply and purposefully, pulling opponents out of shape, and others where circulation has slowed, allowing defensive blocks to settle. Finding that rhythm and maintaining it for 90 minutes remains one of the key challenges. What stands out is that confidence appears to be the common thread linking all areas of the pitch. When belief is high, Rangers look assertive, decisive, and capable of overwhelming opponents. When doubt creeps in, hesitation follows, and opportunities slip away. That is why the recent resurgence of certain individuals has been so significant. It has provided proof that momentum can shift quickly and that belief can be rebuilt with the right performances. Training ground intensity has reflected this awareness. There is a sense that standards are being reinforced daily with an emphasis on accountability and sharpness. Small details, positioning, timing of runs, decision-making in the final third are being scrutinized more closely. These are not dramatic changes, but incremental adjustments aimed at building consistency over time rather than chasing instant transformation. Supporters, while demanding, recognize that this is a process. There is frustration, certainly, especially after missed opportunities, but there is also an understanding that stability has been elusive in recent seasons. What fans crave now is evidence of direction, signs that lessons are being learned and applied. Each match is viewed not in isolation, but as part of a wider story about where Rangers are heading. As the schedule tightens, rotation and squad management will become increasingly important. Fatigue can dull sharpness, both physically and mentally, and Rangers will need to manage that carefully. Players on the fringes will be expected to contribute without drop-off, reinforcing the idea that every role matters. Depth is only an advantage if it can be trusted in meaningful moments. All of this sets the stage for a period that could define the tone of the season. Rangers are not short of quality, but quality alone is not enough at this level. Execution, resilience, and clarity of purpose will decide whether potential is realized or left unfulfilled. The coming matches offer opportunities to establish momentum, to turn cautious optimism into genuine belief, and to show that progress is more than a promise still waiting to be kept. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. A low murmur has turned into a proper rumble round Ibrox, the kind you can feel before it ever hits the headlines. Rangers have confirmed a heavy decision behind closed doors, and the word filtering out is that Bojan Miovski is on his way out. Official lines are careful, measured, almost stiff, but inside the training ground, the mood is anything but calm. Folk close to the dressing room say the place went quiet when the news landed, the sort of silence that tells you this was nigh expected. No, by a long shot. Miovski's name has been wrapped in whispers for a while, but many believed it was just the usual market noise. Turns out it was more than idle chat. The decision, described by insiders as necessary but brutal, has left players stunned, some even questioning how quickly things can shift in this game. 1 minute, you're part of the plan. The next year, packing bags. That's football. But it still hits hard. Supporters, meanwhile, are split right down the middle. Some reckon it's a bold move, a sign the club is willing to shake the tree and reshape the squad without sentiment. Others can't quite see the logic, especially given what Miovski brought in terms of presence and belief. Social media's awash with theories, half-truths, and passionate pleas, the usual storm when a big call drops without full explanation. What's clear is that this is just another transfer story. It feels like a statement, a line drawn by the board and the manager signaling change, whether folk are ready for it or no. The will only grow until the full picture emerges. But for now, Rangers find themselves at the centre of a proper talking point, with a dressing room still reeling and a support trying to ken what comes next. One thing's certain, this decision will be argued over for a long while yet in pubs, on buses, and wherever Rangers fans gather to dissect every move the club makes. Greetings. Fans, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC, and don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned